How many times have we heard the words, "We want the Chapter 1 map back"? What if I told you in this video there is strong evidence pointing towards the return of the Chapter 1 Fortnite map, as we uncover secrets that nobody else is talking about that links the Chapter 1 map and the Chapter 2 map together in a way that will blow your mind. If you're watching right now and you want the Chapter 1 map to return, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest Fortnite information. The most important things we need to look at don't just lie above the Fortnite map, but what's actually underneath the Fortnite map is just as important. A big part of the Chapter 1 Fortnite map that was never really explained laid underneath the Fortnite map itself. The very first time we uncovered this secret was when we started to destroy rocks in a giant community-led event, rocks containing millions of HP, and together we pickaxed it to destroy the rocks to ultimately reveal a metal base underneath the map. Now, that base was never opened up or accessible for the players in the Fortnite island, but continued to lead on to the fact that underneath the Fortnite map, we discovered the center of the island contained a giant metal mainframe. This mainframe ultimately led us into a live event known as the Unvaulting Live event, and this is incredibly important to the Fortnite information we're going to be talking about. Jumping back to the current day on the Chapter 2 island, there was no reference to any metal lying underneath the Fortnite map like there was on the Chapter 1 island. The biggest piece of metal to arrive on the Fortnite island is high up in the sky, and it's the giant mothership. We've seen in this season's Fortnite trailer that when the mothership goes above the island, it's a very, very similar size, and it's absolutely huge. A few people over this season has tweeted me and picked up on something that I also picked up on, which is the fact that if we go back to the Chapter 1 center of the island, the giant piece of metal in the center underneath the map, there's an identical design to the Fortnite UFO currently on the Chapter 2 map up in the sky. The center of the ship, the way it opens up, is identical to the underneath of the Chapter 1 island, and ultimately the place that we went into for the Unvaulting Live event. The similarities by no means end there. We know that in the Unvaulting event, when we went inside the opening under the Fortnite map, we entered in an area that contained the 0 point and a ton of items that we could control to bring back and unvault and completely change the dynamics of the Fortnite island. We all know how important the 0 point is to the Fortnite storyline, and it is an incredibly important part of the stability of the Fortnite island as well. If the 0 point messes up and goes haywire, the whole island is affected by it, so keeping the 0 point as safe as possible is very important. It's probably why it was underneath a giant metal container underneath the map, so it wasn't easy to get to. Coming back to the UFO, we start to see some similarities. The UFO in the sky also contains vaulted items, but not in the form of weapons or planes or swords. It actually contains vaulted POIs. Within the mothership, we see POIs that existed in Chapter 1, but how has the mothership managed to get parts of the Chapter 1 map into the Chapter 2 map when the two appear to be completely separate islands, completely separate realities? The mothership seems to have a connection between Chapter 1 and the Chapter 2 island. As we start to explore the connections between the two chapters a little bit closer, we will be leading on to my big theory, which is actually the fact that the Chapter 2 island doesn't come after the Chapter 1 island, but in fact the Chapter 2 island existed before and leads us into what we know to be the Chapter 1 island. Now, a quick break before we continue with the theory. I want to thank you guys for popping in code Allier in the Fortnite item store. You guys have been supporting me with code Allier from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2, and I want to thank you guys yet again for your support. The code disappears after 2 weeks, so pop it back in to help me out. Ariana Grande's in the store, we've got tons more skins coming, and your support is always appreciated. Anyway, back to the Fortnite theory. At the end of a Chapter 1 map in Season X, we were sucked into a giant black hole and everything went black. That has to be an endpoint. So, for the Chapter 2 map to exist before that is highly likely. The 7 who ultimately created the end event at the end of Season X didn't send us to another island or to another place. They sent us back in time to the beginning of a Chapter 2 island so we could relive time and ultimately end up back on the Chapter 1 island again later on. Now, if it's a little bit confusing, don't worry. Keep on watching. We've got more information. We've drawn upon the similarities between the giant mothership UFO in the sky and the underneath of the Chapter 1 Fortnite island. But how does a mothership go from high above the sky to on the Fortnite island without destroying everything? Well, what if I told you that actually the mothership could be crash landing onto the Fortnite island and causing a lot of destruction to ultimately bring the UFO laying on the Fortnite island? We're about to listen to a leaked audio line from Dr. Sloan and the IO from their current plans right now in Fortnite to bring the mothership down with a very powerful weapon.
Thanks to you, our plan is looking far better than it has any right
Their
to.
plan.
I have weapons in development that may be capable of bringing down the mothership.
The IO are developing a giant weapon to take down the mothership.
If we take down the mothership, the crash landing is not going to be pretty.
But as they realize, if you take down something of that size, it's going to cause a lot of damage to the island. Another quest line that has been leaked says the DNA of the island is being corrupted. They're preparing to terraform everything. These are two huge bits of information. The mothership will crash onto the Fortnite island and the map's going to change and be terraformed to look completely different. What we could be seeing here aligns with my potential theory that a Chapter 2 island will start to form into the Chapter 1 island as we knew it back in the day. The mothership will be taken down by the Imagined Order, crash onto the Fortnite island, and lay there with the island starting to build upon the mothership, which will then exist underneath the top layer of the island. Now, I thought about this theory a lot, and if we take a sideways look at the Fortnite island currently on the Chapter 2 map, it's very low to the ground. The edges gradually lead into the ocean, and the island of itself is pretty normal. If we go back to the Chapter 1 island, you'll remember that the edges of the island were really high up. They had huge gaps, huge hills, mountains, and drop-offs before leading into the ocean. And as we know, there was a giant metal building underneath the Fortnite island, making the theory of the mothership landing on the island, then building on top of it and having the mothership hidden away underneath as we lead into the Chapter 1 map, a far more plausible theory that may have just blown everyone's mind. If the mothership did go ahead and crash into the Fortnite island, and the mothership went ahead and abducted the 0 point, which is currently inside the mothership, it actually works out really well for the Imagined Order and the entirety of Fortnite. The 0 point is contained within a giant metal ship that lives under the map, so it's super safe and super secure. As we've seen in the Chapter 1 island, it's not easy to get hold of. In fact, the only way the 0 point came out to be exposed was because we had a massive fight between the monster and alien, and we had to draw upon the 0 point power. Otherwise, it would have stayed under the map for a lot longer, meaning although this crash would cause a lot of damage, it would actually be a great way of keeping the 0 point safe. The Imagined Order are obsessed with the 0 point, and keeping it stable means that the Fortnite island continues to be in a loop and continues to keep everybody muted and their memories wiped. And as we know, the Imagined Order have bunkers, secret underground bases that have become more and more obvious throughout this season specifically. In fact, we've gone underground and you still can visit a lot of these Imagined Order bases that lie underneath the map. It would mean that access to the 0 point and the crash landing mothership and the Imagined Order bases can all exist in one place, secretly underneath the island, perfect for them to control everything and everyone that lives on the Fortnite map. Now, coming up next in Fortnite is the big live event, the Rift Tour concert, where I'm sure we'll get a lot of secret bits of story information, but a final season live event and a continuation of the actual Fortnite story won't happen in a big effect until the end of this season. I'm just saying, if we end up seeing the mothership crashing and going onto the Fortnite island and existing under the map, this theory could very much be true. And as I said at the beginning of this video, returning to the Chapter 1 island will actually be happening naturally as we continue throughout the evolution of a Chapter 2 island, and once we get to Chapter 2 Season X, potentially we then end up going back to the beginning of a Chapter 1 island as the storyline continues in a way a lot of people never would have expected. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments section. You can click more videos on screen here to keep on watching. Thank you so much everyone for using code ALIA to support me in the Fortnite item store, and I'll see you live here on the channel for the Rift Tour event tomorrow. It's gonna be awesome.